Good evening. I'd like to call the November 20th regular South Windsor Town Council meeting to order. I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilor Buganski. Here. Councilor Lewis.
Present.
Councilor Balboni.
Here.
Councilor Carey. Here. Mayor Delnicki.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Siracusa.
Present.
Councilor King. Here. Councilor Evans.
Here.
Councilor Pendleton.
Okay, we're on item number 4, the mayor's remarks. This is going to be, I'm going to need some indulgence. This is a long one since it's the first meeting with appointments to liaison appointments and committee appointments. Good evening, everyone. Once again, I would like to thank the people of South Windsor for the opportunity to serve as your mayor. I would like to report on the Veterans Day ceremony that was held at Veterans Memorial Park. The ceremony was organized by the Patriotic Commission and American Legion Post 133 with the assistance of the Parks and Recreation Department. Mayor Pendleton laid a wreath on the Vietnam War Monument and laid a wreath on the town monument. The guest speaker was Lieutenant Colonel Richard Totten, retired U.S. Army, who was a long-distance American Legion Post 133 member. It was a beautiful day and was well attended by the residents. On Monday, November 13th, I attended the ribbon cutting where Mayor Pendleton issued a town proclamation to Sapega, Daly, Pope, and Perry. They are a law firm specializing in estate planning, probate, and elder law, and they are located at 1741 Ellington Road. On Monday, November 14th, there was a ribbon cutting, or Tuesday, November 14th, there was a ribbon cutting for Massage Envy to celebrate their new location in Evergreen Walk. Due to a previously scheduled meeting prior to me becoming mayor, I was unable to attend. I am happy that Massage Envy has stayed in South Windsor, moving from their previous location of 90D Buckland Road. On Friday, November 17th, the deputy mayor and I attended the grand opening and ribbon cutting of Sally's Center for Autism in the old Rockville United Bank building at 1645 Ellington Road. Sally's previous location was 491 Buckland Road. The interior of the bank building has been transformed from the bank layout to a modern facility providing ABA therapy to individuals diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder and other related disabilities in a center-based environment and in the home and community. On Saturday, November 18th, the entire town council attended a town council boot camp at the invitation of the town manager with the department heads, providing an overview of each of their departments. This was geared for the new members of the town council and also beneficial to returning councilors. Town offices will be closed on Thursday, November 23rd and Friday, November 24th in observance of the holiday. According to Council Rules Procedure Article 11, committees, the following standing committees shall be appointed by the mayor within 2 weeks of the adoption of rules and procedures. So I will read all of these committees that are basically in alphabetical order. So it's Audit Committee, I'm appointing Rick Balboni, Carolyn Carey, and Stephen King. Ethics Committee, Matt Siracusa, Toby Lewis, Stephen King. Energy Committee, Michael Buganski, Carolyn Carey, Elizabeth Pendleton. Naming of Public Lands and Buildings, Matt Siracusa, Audrey Delnicki, and Erica Evans. Pension Committee, Carolyn Carey, Toby Lewis, Elizabeth Pendleton. Personnel Committee, Matt Siracusa, Audrey Delnicki, and Stephen King. Insurance Control Commission, Audrey Delnicki and Michael Buganski. Capital Projects, Matt Siracusa, Toby Lewis, and Elizabeth Pendleton. Now the appointment of liaisons to the various boards and commissions are as follows. Board of Education, Erica Evans. Planning and Zoning, Carolyn Carey. Capital Region Council of Government, automatically the Town Manager, Michael Maniscalco, and myself. Economic Development Commission, Mike Begancy. Historic District Commission, Elizabeth Pendleton. Housing Authority, Elizabeth Pendleton. Human Relations Commission, Stephen King. Inland Wetlands Agency Conservation Commission, myself, Audrey Delnicki. Juvenile Fire Setter Intervention and Prevention Commission, Elizabeth Pendleton. Library Board, Matt Siracusa. Mass Transit and Highway Advisory Commission, Elizabeth Pendleton. Parks and Recreation Commission, Toby Lewis. Patriotic Commission, Rick Balboni. Public Building Commission, Rick Balboni. Social Justice and Racial Equity Commission, Stephen King. South Windsor Alliance for Families, Erica Evans. South Windsor Arts Commission, Erica Evans. Water Pollution Control Authority, Toby Lewis. Zoning Board of Appeals, Carolyn Carey. Connecticut Water Customer Advisory Board, Rick Balboni. Open Space Task Force, Carolyn Carey. Senior Advisory Board, Audrey Delnicki. And that's it. Now we can move on. Any questions, or do you want to talk about them now, or you want to bring them up after on the liaisons?
On the what?
Liaisons? Or did you have questions on the standing committees?
No, just the appointments. I mean, some of us may have conflicts of all that has been given to us with the times that they meet and the days that they meet. So, because none of these were discussed with any of us prior to give us items that we have no idea about, or the day that they meet, what you've created for a list, can that get sent to all of us by the clerk of the council? And then we can all check them to make sure that we work with that, and at the next meeting, either go over or email you or something like that?
That's fine.
Okay.
Item number 5, Councilor Balboni, adoption of the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda of Monday, November 20th, 2023.
Any discussion? Any changes? Deputy Mayor Siracusa.
Thank you. I'd like to make an amendment to add a detail to 17C. That should read attorney-client privilege communication regarding the South Windsor Library Board.
There's a motion to change the description, 17C. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Councilor Lewis, you have?
No? Oh, sorry.
I do. I just have a question. Knowing that we
Yes,
have
ma'am.
executive session, we'd like to move the executive session up in the agenda so we can deal with our town attorney. I make a motion to move the executive session up in the agenda to after item number 7, public input.
Just 17C, is that what you're looking to move?
No, all of them.
All of them?
Yes, all of the executive session, A, B, and C.
Okay, there's a motion to move agenda items 17A, B, and C to after public input. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor?
I just don't see a need for the attorney to be in executive session. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there
He's always invited into executive session.
on any of those items?
it's your prerogative to invite me or not invite me. If you want to discuss attorney-client privilege material, though, I suggest you invite
Okay.
me.
Sure, okay.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving executive session 17A, B, and C, just after public input. Okay. Item number 7, public input on items on the agenda.
Madam Mayor, you need to, I believe you have to vote on the agenda still to adopt the agenda. You adopted the amendments.
Oh, do I have a motion to accept the agenda, change to the agenda as amended?
Motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Is there a second? Discussion? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? No abstentions, motion carries. Okay. Public input on any, what? Oh, sorry. Sorry, communications and reports from the town manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As was in your written report, the splash pad update, the splash pad was poured on November 16th. I believe I sent some images to all of you. I believe may have even had those on your table for you. Additional concrete pours will be needed to complete the sidewalk for the splash pad access. This may occur this year if the weather cooperates, and the remainder of the project will be completed swiftly in the spring with the play implements being installed. The system has been pressure tested and winterized at this point. In terms of the Pleasant Valley Bridge, will be substantially complete in the coming weeks with a bridge opening ceremony scheduled for December 1st at 9 a.m. The bridge will be open to traffic immediately following the ceremony. There are still numerous punch list items to be completed, most notably telephone pole relocations that we have endeavored tirelessly to have relocated prior to the project commencing and daily during the duration of the project. Unfortunately, the town does not have the authority or ability to move these poles and must rely on the utility companies to execute the work. Despite this and many other hurdles, the town engineering department and ONG Industries should be commended for their efforts on another difficult project, completing it on schedule in a very short period. Pleasant Valley Road Phase 2, the second phase of Pleasant Valley Road reconstruction will be bid out this winter with construction slated for 2024. Our LEAF program, the LEAF program is running smoothly with the last pass starting the last week of November. We've also started the hauling of Vernon's leaves to our compost site in support of our wholesale composting program. Please remember to not place your leaves in the roadway. It can create future flooding issues and narrow the travel lanes for vehicles, creating the potential for accidents. Our town hall HVAC upgrade, the town is planning to replace the HVAC system in the town hall. The current system is original to the building, and the town is using ARPA funds to pay for the replacement. For this to occur, the town hall services will be moved to the annex for 2 days. Currently, the contractor is telling us the move will be December 14th and 15th, but that can change, so please pay attention to both the town website, social media, and other notifications around the actual building. Residents will still be capable of conducting all of their ordinary business from the annex during that time. I'm also very pleased to report to the council the Crosstown Trail grants. The Parks and Recreation Department, in conjunction with the South Windsor Walk and Wheelways, has been awarded $2 million in grant funding from the state of Connecticut for the initiation of Phase 1 of the Crosstown Trail. Specifically, the Connecticut Bond Commission contributed $1.2 million, while an additional $800,000 was granted through the State of Connecticut Community Connectivity Grant Program. Currently, staff are working on the design and permitting process over the winter with the intention of putting the work out to bid for the start of work to occur in the summer. The expectation is to have Phase 1 completed by the summer of 2025. A couple items not on your written report. First of all, the beginning of the month, we went out to bid for our gas and diesel, which we do annually. I'm very pleased to report that we saved $7,500 on that bid. So we've retained our gas for the year and been able to find some savings. I also wanted to draw the council's attention to the budget report that was emailed to you this morning. That's going to be, you'll receive that almost every Monday. That's an expenditure report, and please remember, it's unaudited report. It's automatically generated from our Munis database system that we use. But that'll give you a good idea to track kind of how spending and expenditures are going on a weekly basis. And then lastly, I just wanted to draw your attention, I also sent you an email to, regarding a training for newly elected officials through CCM. That training is on 1/6/2023, and if any of you are interested in going, please let someone in my office know and we can try to get you signed up. And that's all I have, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, Madam Mayor.
Anyone have any questions of the town manager? Go ahead, Councilor Pendleton. I know, I'm getting used to these microphones up.
No
here.
worries. Mr. Maniscalco, thank you. Can I ask what the Phase 2 of Pleasant Valley Road is, please? And why would it start in the summertime when the pool is open as opposed to the spring before the pool opens?
Let me get, you know what, let me get you some more specifics on that so that I can give you some exact locations, because I know that's going to matter for everybody.
I'm thinking maybe it's the road, where they were bringing up the road to the bridge level. I'm not sure what that is, with the Phase 2 piece. Yeah,
Yeah, let me get you
Thank
some more
you.
specifics.
and if we could get that started in the spring instead of summer, that'd be fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, other side of Ellington? Oh, sorry. Well, that was your suggestion. Go ahead.
I was just wondering if it might be the other side of the Ellington Road.
It may, it may be one or the other, and that's what I'm debating. I'm not sure
Because
which.
I think
Gotcha.
at that
So-
point, most of the side closer to Route 5 would be completed.
Done, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Any more questions? Deputy Mayor Siracusa?
The Crosstown Trail grants, is that going to fully fund those trails, or?
That'll fund Phase 1. So
Okay.
there is, I think, 2 or 3 phases, but that's the full funding for all of Phase 1, which is probably the most expensive phase since there's a large walking bridge that's needed to get over a swampy area. So it'll
great.
be a great addition to the community.
Is there a potential for additional grants for Phase 2 and 3 as well?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Some of these, some of the grants that we received from the Crosstown, what is it? The Community Connectivity Grant, that one I do know is available annually over and over again, and we can probably reapply for it as it goes further, and we have a better chance at getting it over those times, so.
Madam Mayor.
Councilor King?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I know this wasn't part of your report, but for the next meeting, is it possible for you to put together, just because of certain committees that I sit on, that you give us a report in regards to ADA compliance for all of the town buildings? You can let us know where we're at, where we need to be, or if we're in compliance
For all town buildings?
for the town buildings, exactly.
Okay, I probably won't be able to get that together for your next meeting.
Okay. When
It'll
would
take
you-
us a little bit, but let me talk with the facilities director and get an estimate as to how long it would take.
Okay, if you can have that estimate, that would be awesome. Thank you.
And Mr. Maniscalco, with that report, can you include the funding from capital for the ADA upgrades that we have, that Mr. Majors is working on? Thank you.
Thank you.
That's voted to be funded every year.
Councilor Evans?
Thank you. I was just wondering about the splash pad update. I know there were a lot of families that were disappointed this year that we didn't see it through the summer. And you mentioned that it's going to be complete swiftly in the spring. Do we have a date in mind of when that would be and when it would be up and running for use?
Well, I mean, it's going to be weather dependent. It'll be weather dependent because the tough coat that needs to be put on is going to be temperature dependent, so it's going to really depend on what the springtime brings and all that sort of stuff, so.
And what does that mean? We're looking at 60-degree days, 70-degree days?
I think it needs to be well above freezing, probably
Well
like
above freezing.
40s, 50s, maybe even a little more.
Thank you.
Seeing no more questions for the town manager, moving on to item number 7, public input for items on the agenda. Public input shall not exceed 30 minutes. When recognized by myself, please approach the lectern, give your name and address, Speakers shall avoid personal attacks, impugning or alleging an improper motive to any person. The speaker may address the council on any matter that is on the agenda. The speaker shall limit their comments to 5 minutes. Please note that the council individually or as a group will not respond to any public comments during this time. Is there anyone who wishes to make a comment? Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, thank you. It is so good to see you guys in those seats. And Audrey, I'm so proud of you. Rick, I'm so proud of you. Carolyn, Toby, Mike, all of you guys deserve these positions. Matt, obviously. Audrey, it's good to see you back on inland wetlands. Yeah. I want to just say that I think the people of this town are going to be very happy with everything that they're going to be seeing from this group of people. I know this may not be on the agenda, and that's fine with me. Hopefully it's fine with you. But we have a great group up here. Every one of you deserves to be there. Everyone is a good person. Everyone has the best of intentions for this town. And I am so happy for each and every one of you. So thank you. And good luck to all of you. And you have my utmost respect, every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to come up and speak for any item on the agenda? Going once? Going twice? Thank you. Moving on to item number 8. Oh. Okay, item number 17 on the agenda. Deputy Mayor Siracusa.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for the following items. 17A, discuss the potential purchase of property at 561 Strong Road. 17B, safety and security, plate reader cameras. And 17C, attorney-client privilege communication regarding the South Windsor Library Board. I'd like to invite Michael Maniscalco, Town Manager, Scott Roberts, Assistant Town Manager, and Christian Lindstrom, Chief of Police, as well as the Town Attorney, Rich Corella.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We will be back as soon as we can. Thank you. like to bring back the regular meeting. Thank you. And we're going to move on to item number 8, Counselor Baganski.
Thank you. Adoption of minutes of previous meeting. Approval of October 16, 2023 Town Council meeting minutes. Be it resolved that the South Windsor Town Council hereby approves the minutes of the regular Town Council meeting of October 16, 2023.
Do I hear a second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Approval of November 13, 2023 Town Council organizational meeting minutes. Be it resolved that the South Windsor Town Council hereby approves the minutes of the Town Council organizational meeting of November 13, 2023.
Do I hear a second? Any discussion? Counselor Balboni?
Yes, on number 4, just a couple grammatical issues. Counselor Carey makes a motion to nominate Audrey Delnicki. And then Counselor Lewis was the one to second that. Then on number 11, under adjournment, although we probably all think he is kind, his actual name is Counselor King with a G. I think those are the only 3 I saw. You like kind better? Sorry.
And the spelling of Constable Sandberg, no D, correct? It does have a D? Oh, I thought he said it had no D. Oh, my bad.
Do I have a second on the motion to accept the minutes as amended?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Abstain? Motion carries. Number 9, communications from liaisons, officers, boards, and directly responsible to the council. Counselor Evans?
Just since the previous meeting, HRC has begun working on an MLK event for January 11th alongside the South Windsor Public Library. That's all I have to share.
Any other? Deputy Mayor Siracusa.
On November 14th, I attended the library board meeting. At that meeting, the director made a statement that the circulations are up 30% from last October, from approximately 14,000 circulations to 18,000. That's quite a big jump. Rachel Kalatis has been teaching weekly yoga classes, and that's been a great success. The brick replacement began at the front entrance, and the approximate completion is about 2 weeks, and that's from the 14th of November, and that also includes the upper entrance as well. And they wanted me to note that the children's department is still short-staffed, and that is in order to ensure they can make payroll. They plan to hold off on hiring until January or later before the position is filled. And that's all.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Moving on to item number 10, reports from committees. Seeing none, move on to item 11, our consent agenda. Councilor King, first reading.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to approve 11A1 through 11A2 as a first reading on the consent agenda.
Second.
Second, we have a second. Any items that anyone would like removed from the consent agenda? Councilor King?
Any items to be removed?
Just asking any.
Oh, no.
That should have been
If there's your
first.
lights on, that's fine.
Oh, no, we're good.
Thank you. Seeing none, we'll go for voting. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, thank you. Councilor Carey for consent agenda 11.
Motion to approve 11A3 to 11A15 as a first reading on the consent agenda.
second? Having a second, any items that would like removed from the consent agenda?
I have a question concerning one person, Daniel Kane. Is that a town employee?
I don't believe so.
It's your appointment.
That wasn't brought up.
You guys know who that is? You know who it is? Is it a town employee? It's a different human. Okay. It's a different person.
Yeah, Dan Kane is.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep,
Just wanted to make sure.
yep,
Wasn't identifying, just asking.
yep, no problem. All those in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Thank you. Still on consent agenda 11, Counselor Lewis. Page 6 at the top.
Motion to approve 11B1 through 11B2 as a second reading on the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I would like to thank Steve Cordero. He's actually on 1 and 2. Thank him for his dedication to the town and willingness to serve on both these commissions.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 11C, miscellaneous, seeing none. Item 12, unfinished business. 12A, discussion item, tax fixing agreement with Longleaf Developers LLC. Mr. Maniscalco.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to actually turn this project over to Mr. Roberts. He's been taking the lead on this, and I'm sure he could kind of run you through. I know there's a handout on the table that we gave to you over the weekend, and also a new copy of it, so you should all have a copy of that available to yourselves. Take it away, Scott.
Okay, so you do have this summary that was provided. Also, just to let you know, we have the engineer for the development here, Mr. Cassidy, sitting behind me, as well as we also have Mr. Paul Burnham, the co-chair of the EDC, that has already heard this application and had already voted on it to send it up to the town council. So if it would make sense, I could have Mr. Cassidy get up and at least talk to you guys in the big picture of what the development is before we proceed, if you would like. Okay.
So, good evening. For the record, my name is Jim Cassidy, professional engineer and principal with the firm of Halsey, Pearson & Cassidy. I am the site engineer responsible for the development of plans for a parcel known as Unit 7C and Evergreen Walk. I do have a packet with some colored plans and renderings of the buildings that I'd like to hand out to the commission. Oh, thank you, Scott. So I am here tonight representing Continental Properties. Continental Properties is one of the largest development companies in Connecticut, developing over 1,200 luxury apartment units in Connecticut over the past 7 years. Continental Properties was the proud developer of Tempo, which is on Unit 7B in Evergreen Walk, which consisted of 200 residential units, again in the adjacent Lot 7B. In addition to Tempo, their other nearby developments consist of one Glastonbury, which is a 145 unit development. Montage, which is a 144 unit development in Rocky Hill, and Altera, which is another 144 unit development in Rocky Hill. Continental is experienced in building modern rental communities that are highly amenitized. Their commitment is to build developments that are Class A space, truly best in class. One other important thing to know about Continental Properties is they are what we call a generational developer. They do not build with the intent to sell. They build and they hold all developments that they have. They've been in business for 66 years. The advantages to having a generational builder is that you have provided continuous ownership, stable management, more consistent contacts, long-term curb appeal in the community, better quality of design and construction. With this particular development, they were excited to have the opportunity to potentially develop another residential community in Evergreen Walk. The purpose for wanting to be in Evergreen Walk is Continental Properties feels that the Evergreen Walk development is the premier lifestyle center with not only in the Hartford area, but within the state of Connecticut. And in addition to, with recent opening of Costco and planned opening of Whole Foods and other future enhancements to Evergreen Walk, they feel this is a good place to be in a post-COVID condition. The objective for this development was not to copy the Tempo development. They wanted to do something that was a little bit different, not call this Tempo 2. Although Tempo is very successful, they wanted to provide an additional or different type of housing development to the residents of the town of South Windsor. Sorry. So in this particular development, in the package that I handed out to you, what you'll see is what we're proposing is a total of 11 buildings, and then in addition to community center building, 12 buildings in a community center building. What is different, if you go to Tempo 1, or the existing Tempo development, this is what we call a conjugate housing development, in that they are 24-unit buildings, 3-story buildings. They have either a common hallway or stairway to get up to those units. In this particular development, what we're looking to do is, of the total 165 units we're looking to build, 90 of the 165 units will be called what we call a cottage-style unit. A cottage-style unit is a unit, and that's the buildings that you'll see on the colored site plan that are around the perimeter of the site. A cottage-style unit would have its own individual entrance to the outside. In addition to, it has an attached garage with an individual entrance from that garage directly into their unit. So it offers a completely different type of housing within the town of South Windsor. This offers an opportunity for people that may be looking to downsize in town but want to still live in town and want to sell their house and prefer to have that garage and that direct entrance. It's a totally different model than was presently concurring in the Tempo. In addition to, as part of the 160, better, sorry. In addition to the cottage-style units, we are also looking to have 2 buildings. I believe they're buildings number 11 and 10 on your site plan. They're towards the center near the clubhouse. These buildings would be 4-story buildings. One would have 38 units, and the other would have a total of 37 units for a total of 75 units. What's different with these buildings compared to Tempo is these have a more formal lobby, a single lobby. Would actually have an elevator from the lobby elevation up to the 4 floors, whereas if you go into Tempo right now, they are walk-up type units. So it offers another opportunity. In addition to, I'll point out, is by doing that, it makes most of the units within the building actually handicap adaptable, because all floors have access to that elevator. In addition to, as part of the design, what Continental does very well, and I've done several developments for them, is their developments are all very highly amenitized. If you take a look at the clubhouse at Tempo and all the other developments, their clubhouses offer state-of-the-art gyms, usually media centers, and then also kitchen facilities for large gatherings if they have them. In addition to, they really enhance their outside amenity area. They usually have a resort-quality pool consisting of cabanas, fire pits, bocce courts, and putting greens. In addition to, for outside amenities, with all the Continental developments, there's usually a bike share program, which will be part of this particular development. Excuse me. In addition to, as part of this overall development, there is a trail system that goes all the way around Evergreen Walk development. We are going to be completing our portion of that system. That trail system would be open to the public. So it's a nice amenity that will be offered to the entire public. We're also making this development walkable, whereas there's going to be a complete sidewalk system that runs from the development all the way past up the hotel and all the way back into the promenade shops. So it'd be very walkable, accessible from this development back up into the shops. In addition to, for the unit breakdown, of the 165 units, we're looking for a mix of one bedrooms plus office, and 2-bedroom units. We also point out, as part of your regulation, we are providing EV charging stations. I'll let you know that Continental was one of the first developers in Connecticut to provide EV charging stations for vehicles. You have specific requirements in your regulations. We needed to actually provide up to 10% of our outdoor parking spaces as what we call EV charging ready. So basically it has conduit and infrastructure to it. 3% of those parking, or the overall parking spaces, needed to be actually installed. So we have a bank of about 8 parking spaces that will be installed, in addition to all the garage spaces within the cottage-style units will also have the ability to have EV charging stations put in them. So it's all 90 of the garage spaces associated with this will be able to have the EV charging stations, so they'll be EV ready. I included in your package a series of renderings. I apologize, I was going to put them off the screen, but I was not able to hook in. But they've tried to come up with a development that's going to complement the Tempo development. So the color palette that you're seeing would be similar to what's in Tempo. In addition to, we've gone to your architectural design review. We've gone over with this to get their blessing on it, which they have at this point. We've tried to make a lot of architectural continuations of the front entrances and the roof lines. You'll see it's not just a plain flat roof. We have a lot of gables and a lot of interesting features going on to enhance the architecture of the building. In addition to, as I mentioned, being a generational builder, they like to build with materials that they know are going to be sturdy and be around for a long time. In these particular buildings, you're going to see that there's a stone facade on the bottom, or a hard material facade on the bottom. There's a hardy plank material, a clapboard for the lower portion, and also some vertical barn board in the upper portion. So again, they're using higher quality materials than a typical apartment development would. So in summary, Continental believes that a mixed housing opportunity will ensure a dynamic and intergenerational community. The new housing opportunity provided by Unit 7C will complement the housing in the Tempo development and others in the Evergreen Walk. And add in here a benefit of the residential community at Unit 7C would be more residents to support the shots at Promenade Walk, contributing to sustainability going forward, which is critical to its long-term viability. It's also important to know that as part of our approvals on this project, we are committing to provide 21 of the 165 units as affordable housing units. So that would be a fixed rental rate on those particular units. That is going to help the town to meet their affordable housing requirements that are required. So in summary, our objective is to create another best-in-class modern rental community in which the stakeholders of South Windsor would be proud of. So with that, I'll conclude my short presentation and gladly answer any questions that you may have.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Cassidy? Deputy Mayor Siracusa?
Thank you for that. Where would those workforce units go? I apologize if you said that. I didn't catch it.
They're going to be in the 2 larger buildings, the 2 4-story buildings, so towards the
sorry.
center. They're in the 2 larger buildings, the 38.
They're mixed within.
They're not, yes, so they're totally mixed within it. They're not at any specific corner.
In building 10 and 11?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Carey?
I just wanted to confirm, in order to be able to build a residential development, planning and zoning gave you a change, right, from?
Yeah, so we
supposed-
had to initially go to the Planning and Zoning Commission to get an amendment to the master plan for Evergreen Walk, which was granted last year. We've been to inland wetlands, back to Planning and Zoning for a site plan approval, to water pollution control. At this point, all other municipal approvals have been signed off on.
Okay. Originally, this was going to be office space, right? And then
Correct.
It was changed.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Pendleton?
Oh, me? Is that what you said? Yeah. I was looking at you. I thought she called you. You can go. Go ahead.
Counselor King?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The only question I have, so just so I'm clear, so there's going to be a trail?
Correct. It's a completion of the trail system for Evergreen Walk. So it goes down along the backside, the south side of our units, all the way around the storm management basin that's on the far left, or to the west side of the project, then connects with the trail system behind Costco.
Okay. So the only question I had, and I know some of this, to the councilor's point, I know it went through planning and zoning already. Is this going to be lighted, this trail?
The trail will not be lighted.
So basically,
It's a nature trail.
don't walk it at night.
Yeah, it's a nature trail, so you don't want to light along the wetlands.
Okay.
This is South Windsor, not South Philly.
Okay. I'll let that go. All right. And you mentioned the bike sharing?
There's a
The
bike
sharing?
share program
Okay.
for the residents.
Okay, how does that work exactly?
So what happened is, outside the clubhouse, there's an area of bikes, they're locked up on a rack.
Yep.
If a resident wants to use them, they go into the leasing office or the main office. They would request the use of a bike, they give them their appropriate information. They would come out, provide them with not only the bike, but a helmet, allow them to use it, and at the end of the day, they need to bring it back.
Okay.
There are other bikes, racks, scattered throughout the overall development.
Right.
So they can park them, or if public wants to come in and access the trail, there are other bike racks within the
Okay,
development.
so
zone.
so it's different, not to cut you off, but I don't, that's good. But so it's different from like, say, the scooter share
Correct.
that's
where
in
you-
Hartford?
Yeah,
Okay.
where you see them discarded along the side. No, it's not that.
Copy that. And finally, and this is something that's been cropping up lately, so I just want to get in front of it now, ADA compliance throughout.
So the two four-story buildings, all units could be ADA adaptable, okay? The cottage-style units, first floor units could be ADA adaptable. Second floor units, they can't. There's staircases from the garage.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Counselor Pendleton?
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for presenting this to us this evening. I know it's been a while. I noticed that this is a wetland and site plans application.
Correct.
This is approved by inland wetlands already, yes?
Yes,
Okay. And it's approved by planning and zoning already, yes?
yes.
Okay. So then I guess I should keep my comments about the waterways to myself because it's already been approved by inland wetlands, right?
I couldn't hear you.
I said I should keep my comments to myself about the waterways.
Correct.
Because it's already been approved by
It's been-
inland wetlands.
Yeah, it's been approved, yep.
Okay, so I'll get that off my list. How many children does this present?
So I'm probably not the right person to ask. I'm the site engineer, so, I couldn't answer that question.
Okay. Okay. And you said 21 out of 61 is affordable?
Correct. 21 out of 165.
165?
Yeah, so it's a little over 12% of the units are affordable.
Okay, are affordable. What does that mean, sir, affordable?
It's based on the median income from the area, whatever 80% of the median income from the area is. You take that and basically back into, based upon that income, what could either a single person or a family afford for rent. And then that would set the price for that unit.
Okay, so all of these are apartments then, and folks are going to be renting them from?
They're going to be rented from Continental Properties.
Oh, that's what I'm asking, Continental Properties.
Correct.
So now they're going to be, the property management is Continental Properties, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any mixed use in here of 55 and older included in any of these?
they're not dedicated 55 or older. Obviously, anyone 55 or older can move in, but it's supposed to be complete generations, young generations, working professionals, and then also people that are.
Well, 55 and older can be professionals.
Well, no, I agree. Thank you, because I'm far past that, so. Or, you know, snowbirds or people that are retired and want a second place to live. So it can be any age group, any demographic.
Okay. And then just off the wall, my own observation, and you can just tell me to be quiet because I'm not the professional, you guys are. Why is the pool on the outskirts as opposed to in the center of the development?
Actually, when you take a look at the number of units, it's more accessible to a greater number of units having the two larger buildings around it. You have actually 75 units directly around it. The other 90 units, we tried to set those more up, again, like, we call them cottage style, but it's more like, I don't want to say single-family living, but where you have nobody behind you, you have nature behind you. So that's why all those units are around the perimeter, rather
Okay.
than overlooking an active community area.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Councilor Lewis?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's a trail there. Is the trail going to be maintained? Is the plan to maintain it? Because I know there's trails around there now that, quite frankly, aren't being maintained.
Yeah, and that's come up before, and we're going to complete our section. There's an association for all Evergreen Walk.
Okay.
Money gets contributed not only from this unit, but other units within the development for the maintenance of that. It was brought up at planning and zoning that they're going to have to start, now that everything's completed, they're going to have to really start maintaining it. So it is the intent to improve it and maintain it. One big advantage with Continental is if you ever go to any of their developments, they're always impeccable. Landscaping, the grounds, so I'm sure the portion through their property will be maintained.
Good transition to my next question. What about snow removal? What's the plan for snow removal?
So we have areas dedicated for piling snow. We don't want any snow to interfere with our residents. So typically what happens is when we get into a situation where we have a bad winter and severe amount of snow that we need to deal with, it gets removed off-site.
Thank you.
Councilor Baginski?
Thank you. What's the occupancy rate at Tempo currently?
It's 100% right now.
Okay. And what's the average monthly rent?
I'm sorry, you're asking the wrong person. I couldn't
Okay.
answer
Do you
that
know,
question.
do you know what they're proposing for the rents on the new project?
I do not.
No,
I do
okay.
not.
That's it. Thank you.
Sorry.
Deputy Mayor?
I want to add to what Councilor King was saying about the bikes. Is the intention and the hopes that they would grab a bike, maybe go to Whole Foods, grab something for dinner for them to make? Okay, has Evergreen Walk agreed to put whatever those specific bike racks are? It sounds like, is there some sort of electronic lock within the bike rack
No,
itself?
it's just a regular locking system.
So they're
It's a regular-
given so they can use whatever's currently there?
Yeah, it's a regular bike. It's not like when you go into Hartford and you see the bike share programs. It's just a regular bike. Anything that happens is one of the representatives or whoever is in charge at the community facility would unlock it and make sure they have a helmet.
And they take that lock with them to wherever
They
they're...
can take the lock with them, yep.
Great, thank you.
I'll get my one question in. You're saying buildings 10 and 11 are going to have the workforce units. How is that going to be split up? Do you know if it's going to be 10 in one and 11 in the other?
I don't know the exact split, but most likely. But again, they're not going to be dedicated to one like corner of the building. They're going to be evenly dispersed throughout the buildings.
Oh, okay.
And there's not going to be any difference in quality of materials. They're all be the same type and style of unit.
Okay. Any other questions? Oh, yes, Councilor Pendleton?
A lot of us have asked a lot of questions concerning this project, none of which I have heard about of what we discuss here, which is the tax fixing agreement. And are you capable of answering any of those questions?
Well, I'm not.
You're not,
No,
okay.
it's my understanding that the discussion tonight was just an overview. Again, everyone else involved in the project from the management team basically had some issues going on this
Got it.
evening. So I was just here to represent and give you guys a description of the project and be able to answer any questions because I am responsible for the design of it. But I
Got
think, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, our hope was that we would give, since it's a new council, we would give a kind of an update as to what's happened, what the project looks like, and then go from there to talk about the abatement moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
I can answer Councilor Burganski's questions.
Okay, Mr. Burnham? Thank you, Mr. Cassidy.
Good evening, councilors. Paul Burnham, 25 Pear Tree Lane, Vice Chair, Economic Development Commission. I found some things. So when Temple opened up, they had a lot of different prices. So apartments were 1 and 2 bedroom, first, second, and third floor walk-ups. There were only 40 garages, so you had to pay $300 a month if you wanted a garage. They allowed animals, including dogs, which cost up to $100 a month. A 2-bedroom apartment, a garage, and dog cost was approximately $2,500 per month. So, and then with the new development that's coming in, your base price is going to start at $3,500 a month. And that's going to show, it's going to be more of upscale, a little more upscale than what Temple is right now. A lot of the stuff inside is going to be more high-end than what you have in your Temple apartments now. And that $3,500 now, that doesn't include if there's, additional fees or whatever like that. You could be easily up over $4,000 a month for rent. So I hope those kind of answer Councilor Burganski's questions, and thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
So now we've given you a basic update. They've explained that they've gone through all their approvals. The next step would be to come back to the town council and work on the tax fixing agreement with you folks. At this point in time, is there any additional questions that you feel you need answered tonight?
Are we all set?
I did want to just point out, so we did give you the tax fixing agreement comparison, comparing the Tempo agreement to the Longleaf agreement, so that everybody has that understanding of where we got to today. It shows what the developer actually requested versus what we negotiated to. So you can see those differences. And then the other item in your packet is this other handout here about affordable housing from Michelle Leip, our Director of Planning, just to show you how this development as well as others play into the affordable housing scenario within our community as we move forward and get closer to the October 2024 date when the affordable housing moratorium ends. So.
When you do read the tax fixing agreement, please read all the asterisks on the very bottom, because there were some assumptions from various departments, the building department, the assessors department, in terms of how we calculated some of the numbers or where they came from. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those at a later date too.
Deputy Mayor?
Mr. Roberts, sorry. If I was to ask a question about potentially a less number of years on the agreement, would you have those values as far as the taxes paid? Or would you not have those numbers with you today?
So basically that is per year. So for instance, if you looked at the 5 years, the estimated taxes and everything, that's going to be per year.
Okay.
So then you would just say that times the number of years. So For instance, if the tax fixing agreement was to be reduced from the requested from 7 to 5 to maybe 3 or something, you would see that basically the full tax would be in the year 4.
Which is almost $1 million,
Yes.
that figure?
Yes. I mean, one of the things that you've got going on here too is you've got the estimated building fees. That is just the building fees. That's the lion's share. But the fire marshal has a fee, the health department has a fee. So if you add the building fees plus the estimated real property based off the agreement, you would be looking at just about $1 million added to the grand list year 1. It would go through the cycle of whatever number of years you've approved, 5 or 3 or whatever, and then at that following year in the grand list, you would go to the full taxation, which, based off a lot of assumptions that I made using the capital investment of $28,450,814, plus the mill rate of 33.14 that is currently in place, I estimated about $942,880 would be raised in taxes once the agreement expires. So then you would go from $1 million with the fees year 1, it would drop down to about $500,000 years 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then it would jump back up to $1 million once it hit the full value of the tax rolls.
And without any tax fixing agreement, it would be that 942 number essentially?
If all my assumptions are right, where their capital investment when they build it, once it's certified by the building official, is $28 million, and that's using the current mill rate. If the mill rate were to go up, obviously the tax dollars would go up as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are we all set? Okay, you're all set, Mr.
Thank you.
Roberts? Thank you. Okay, unfinished business, 12B, discussion item, sidewalk installation on Birch Hill Drive and Felt Road.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to turn it over to our Director of Public Works, Mr. Stetson. As some of you know, this was an item that was in front of the previous council. We wanted to just kind of update you and get you up to speed on this item as well.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and fellow councilors. Congratulations to all of you. Vincent Stetson, Director of Public Works here, talking about Birch Hill Drive sidewalks. This is a map that was put together back in 2015 by the Plan of Conservation Development, and you can see the black arrow there calling out Birch Hill Road as not a high priority, but a low priority road. In prior meetings, I was asked to develop a map with a 2,000-foot radius of the schools and parks. Birch Hill Road is encompassed in half the circle around Old Orchard Hill, and then the family with the young kids is the rest of it between Nevers Park. One question in the past that we've had is, why am I here in front of you talking about new sidewalks? Section 8685 of the town charter states new sidewalks construction that the town council may, upon finding after hearing before it that will serve public necessity and convenience, authorize the town manager to install along all or part of any street or highway in the town sidewalks in accordance with the town standard sidewalk specifications as set forth in the town engineering department. I'm going to paraphrase the rest of it, but this is that process. We did hold a public hearing, which is the second section of that. Potential parameters for installing new sidewalks in South Windsor. Resident request and outreach within 2,000 feet of a school or pedestrian generator, provides a connection between neighborhoods, and ease of installation, topography challenges, utility challenges. And one thing that we really haven't talked about before regarding sidewalks is the need for eminent domain. Eminent domain is a very lengthy legal process, and residents that do not want to allow us the easements for sidewalks on their property, it is up to you and the town manager and the town attorney to exercise eminent domain to put sidewalks in these locations. Birch Hill sidewalks does not have that issue. We have plenty of right-of-way there to put the sidewalk in. We also have this POCD sidewalk priorities. I will paraphrase here for brevity, but you'll see number 2, areas around public schools. Quality of life issues, providing more sidewalks and walking paths. That is the 4th issue. Part of the strategic plan, adding 1 sidewalks per year, connecting schools and neighborhoods through general funds. I'd like to point out that we do not have $1 million per year in the general fund. We have no money to put in new sidewalks for the general fund. But we do have bond funds that were passed in 2022 at $1 million per year to install sidewalks. A brief timeline. In 2022-2023, we received requests for sidewalks on Birch Hill Drive. On June 5th, we came here to discuss with you guys sidewalks on Birch Hill Drive. On July 3rd, we came here and passed a resolution for sidewalks on Birch Hill Drive, sending out certified letters to all the homeowners notifying of the hearing. On July 17th, Town Council held a public hearing. On September 5th, we held another discussion item to talk about the sidewalks, where I was asked to perform a survey of the neighborhood around Birch Hill Drive. October 2nd, we came back here and we discussed the results of the survey. We can go over the survey very quickly here. 382 surveys were sent out to residents. We had 139 total responses, 243 did not respond. For Birch Hill Road, you had 49 folks that said no, 83 folks that said yes. So 34% out of the total population responded. For residents that live directly on Birch Hill that would have the sidewalks either in front of their house or across the street, you had a 74% answer, and it was basically 50-50. For Valley View, you had a little less response at 35%, but again, 50-50 response for folks where would be impacted with the sidewalks right in front of their house. In summary, Birch Hill Drive is an excellent candidate for new sidewalks installation based upon the town's strategic plan adopted in 2023, the town's plan of conservation and development survey conducted in 2023, and its close proximity to Orchard Hill Elementary School, the town's recently relocated rec center, and it being the midway point between Nevers Park and South Windsor High School. I know that was very quick, and a few of you folks are familiar with this initiative, and I look forward to answering any questions that you guys may have.
Any questions for Mr. Stetson? Mrs. Councilor Pendleton?
Hi.
Hello.
How are we? We're back to this conversation again. I see on page 3, thank you for being here and bringing this forward. On page 3, it says, where would you prioritize sidewalk improvements? Ellington Road, Oakland Road, Sullivan Avenue, et cetera. I'm going to ask again about Ellington Road going near Pleasant Valley School. And that also encompasses 2 areas around schools and on Ellington Road. So going from Ellington Road down to the condos, to the 4 corners there where Bears is located, to Chapel and Ellington, up to Pleasant Valley School, and then Pleasant Valley School on Ellington Road down towards Pleasant Valley Road. So the Ellington Road area from Chapel to Pleasant Valley has no sidewalks, although we have crosswalks in front of the school, 3 of them. People cross the street and they walk on other people's lawns. I know the school has provided some sidewalks in front of the school property, but once you leave that area, there's no sidewalks at all. So wouldn't that be more of a priority than this one? Especially since it's a busy road?
That's a state road. We don't have jurisdiction out there. We don't have the right of way. And we would most likely have to exercise eminent domain, which is land taking, which all you folks would have to vote on, and is not low-hanging fruit. It is in the pipeline. We are actively working on getting those sidewalks installed. But again, working with the state and installing sidewalks on a road like that is very, very time consuming. In 2020, we put in an application for sidewalks all around town through the state program in LoTSIP, and some of it being on state roads. And it is now 2023, and I am not confident that in 2024 we will have that project released. I'm just trying to build sidewalks in a very efficient and quick manner. Birch Hill Road, like I stated before, is low-hanging fruit. It is package ready to be installed. The sidewalks that you're requesting are not package ready, and it's something that the team is working very diligently on and making reality. But again, it's much more complicated than I can.
So on this, the priority card here, why was the options for Ellington, Oakland, and Sullivan, we know those are state roads. Why were they on, 388 people said, put sidewalks on those roads? That was the highest amount of people that voted for that. And then the other one said areas around public schools, 378 people. So
Liz, I'm here not to talk about the plan of conservation and development. I'm here to talk specifically about Birch Hill Drive and installing that. This plan that you're referring to in 2015 is a draft plan. Currently, the walking wheelways and the Planning and Zoning Department is working to develop a consummate list to move forward with sidewalks. But all these streets that you're looking at, in one shape or form, we're currently working on it.
Well, and I understand you're not here to talk about that, and you did point out that those are state roads, and it is very difficult to get a sidewalk on a state road. I understand that. I don't understand why it was in this, right here, this graph, as one of the roads, Ellington Road, also around schools. That's why I brought it up, because Ellington Road is around
Liz,
Pleasant Valley School.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're referring to, because I don't have that handout.
The green one here, on page 3. The very top one says Ellington Road, Sullivan Avenue, and Oakland Road, which are all state roads, but the majority of people voted for that on the sidewalk. That's a priority, but we have difficulty working with the state, I know.
Could I try to add
And then
some
number
insight on that one?
number two is working around the schools, and like I'm saying, around Pleasant Valley School with Ellington Road, I'm looking for more safety for the folks that walk from Chapel Hill condos to Pleasant Valley School, or from Pleasant Valley Road up to Pleasant Valley School on Ellington Road. There are no sidewalks till you get in front of the school.
Correct, we are working on it. We're also working on getting sidewalks installed on Birch Hill Drive.
Okay, I get it, thank you. It's a little rude, but I get it. And I thought that we were going to have a presentation on a whole plan like we did for the street replacements, to look at areas of town that we were going to, that was brought up, that you were going to come back with that?
Liz, I was requested to come here to speak about Birch Hill Drive sidewalks.
As I stated when we first started the conversation, the whole idea was to update the council that has, just recently been seated. Now I realize and I understand some of you have been here for previous term, but there's others who haven't. So we wanted to get everybody on the same page prior to moving forward with everything. So that's the general gist of where we are and what we're trying to move forward with. So obviously the other things that have been requested aren't ready yet, or we're not at that point where we would be bringing them forward. So that's where things stand.
So I think I'm confused, Mr. Maniscalco. Are we discussing Birch Hill Drive and addressing Birch Hill Drive with a sidewalk, or are we waiting for a whole plan like the streets replacement plan that we have, or the street paving, the paving for progress? Are we gonna be looking at something like that in the future?
As I said, we just said we're here to update everybody on what was talked about before, and now we're working on those other things to bring
Right.
them forward to you guys at a future date.
Okay, thank you.
Deputy Mayor? Councilor King?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Madam. So just so we're clear, you're a town employee, right? Mr. Vincent?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if we're asking you questions, you're paid to answer our questions. Nope, there's not a back and forth. I just want to be clear that we're asking, as my fellow counselors will ask, and I get the fact that, because I agree, we all need to be kept in the loop, because yes, we were here, my fellow counselors were not. I get that. However, recognize that when we're asking, the town people are going to ask us. They're not going to call you. So we want to make sure that we have answers from when we're asked the questions that you're paid to answer. So the shortness, I can do without it. Please, I can just answer the question to the best of your ability. I understand that you're frustrated because, as you so eloquently said earlier, we're just trying to get these sidewalks built. That's really irrelevant because right now we have a lot of things that have been built that some of our residents said we don't want built. So we just want to make sure that when we do this, that we're all on the same page, including yourself. So going forward, for me, that's all I want to know is when I'm asked a question by a resident, it's not about the frustration piece. It's about, you know what, this is what our town is asking for, and so that's why I'm asking you the question. Okay? I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. I think I can maybe clear up. This was those results from the Ellington Road, that was from a resident survey? That graph we're looking at?
That was a
Yes.
survey put out for the Plan of Conservation and Development.
And that came from residents, those
Yes,
responses?
that was a survey
Okay,
that
so
the
I
town picked to
imagine
put out.
the 388 that said along Ellington Road, Oakland Road, Sullivan Avenue, maybe did not understand or know if there was eminent domain. So I imagine maybe that's where that discrepancy came from. Back to Birch Hill, looking at the timeline, I'm curious if you can just give an estimate. Since this discussion started on June 5th, approximately how much money do you think materials have gone up for the materials necessary for the sidewalks on Birch Hill?
It would be disingenuous of me to provide any sort of number.
Okay. You don't have any estimate based on previous projects?
The cost of inflation goes up every month.
Okay. That's all.
Councilor Carey?
So if the Birch Hill sidewalks got approved, when would they get started?
In the spring.
Okay. Thank you.
And since I'm new here, even though I did see your presentation a few months ago, if you can just bear with me on this one. On the respondents on Birch Hill, the 11 saying no and the 12 saying yes, page 6. Do you know which side of the street, which answer came from?
No, I do not.
Okay. Is there any way to find that, or no?
We might be able to extrapolate that data.
Because that would be helpful just for me. I don't think that was asked during the previous council, so that would be helpful if you could do that.
Okay.
Thank Councilor Carey.
Thank you very much for your background, and thank you for the time and the presentation. I do think that one of the things we want to try and do is make this easier for you and for your staff and for the town about, so that a street doesn't take, 4 months or 5 months to get approved. So maybe, I think there's something somewhere where we can look at a plan so that we kind of agree on a swath. And I do agree with Councilor Pendleton. I actually was also asked about putting sidewalks from Pleasant Valley to the school. So I know that's a state road, but what's happening is people are walking their children over the grass in front of the church and in front, and they were just mentioning to me, could we please get sidewalks? So, I know it's a problem, but anything we could do there would be, and on the other side as well, would be greatly appreciated.
We're currently working with the church
Great.
That's going to be very easy to work with that one property owner, but the rest of the property owners along Ellington Road, it might not be the same.
Okay. Anything we can do. As I said, I was waving, so I saw a lot of people doing that, so. Anyway, thank you, and maybe we can make this a little bit easier when we do, more.
Any other comments? Councilor
Madam-
Pendleton?
Just one. Is Matt going? Who's going? There you go. Oh, Mr. Maniscalco, since you're trying to bring everybody up to speed with the Birch Hill project and everything, many of the Birch Hill folks wrote us letters. Is there a possible way that we can get them all that background history so they can do some of their research on the past so they can bring brought up to speed?
Yep.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. Myself and the three seated to my right, we got all this information. One of the big pieces of information that I took away was the location of the sidewalk as far as what side of the street. And you mentioned that, I don't remember, I apologize, whether it was the north or the south, but one was going to cost significantly more due to the need for retaining walls. Can you just give us that little bit of information? That way
So the
everybody
north
else can
side
hear
of
that.
of Birch Hill Drive is relatively flat, and there's no conflicts. The south side, there's approximately 400, 500 linear feet, where right at the edge of the road, it comes up about 4 or 5 feet. So we would have to go and build a retaining wall or work with those residents to request that we take down their trees and grade out the yard further into their yard, which would put us in a position where we might have to exercise eminent domain. So in an instance like that, it's easier just to put the retaining wall in so that you don't have to go through the legal quagmire, which is eminent domain.
And I believe it's got to be somewhere in the minutes. I believe you said it would approximately be around 200,000. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
You said between 200, 250,000. How many linear feet of sidewalks do you think that would 200 or 250,000 would build? Because I know we have an approved budget for sidewalks. Do you approximately know how many linear feet?
I would probably say about 2,000 feet.
So another 2,000 feet of sidewalks could be built by saving that 200,000? Thank you.
Seeing no more discussions? Thank you,
Madam
Ms.
Mayor, I did want to
Yes.
just point out, I believe as a part of the revisions to the Plan of Conservation Development that we're working on now, there is a sidewalk plan that's being worked on, so there will be something that's even more comprehensive coming forward to all of you. I think it's important as we put these plans together and we all see them, planning and zoning votes on them, the council votes on them, that we stick to those plans and we start actually working on implementing them, because they're only as good as the paper they're written on then if we don't, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilor Lewis?
I'll be quick.
Okay.
Would it be possible when you're bringing us this information, it'd be very helpful for me because I don't do what you do all day long. So what I'd like is the data along with, and we recommend this because. So, we talked about north side, south side of the road. Which side of the road would be best for the town, best for the citizens, and why? So that we can help you and allow you to do what you guys do well. But don't make me figure it out. You're the professionals. Recommend what you think is best and justify it to us and convince us, is what I'd like to see. Thank you.
Councilor Baginski?
Thank you. Just to confirm, this has already been budgeted for, right? There's that, am I misunderstanding that?
We have a funding source through the 2022 bond referendum.
Okay.
Approximately $1 million a year to install new sidewalks around town. It doesn't necessarily have to be Birch Hill Drive. As I am keenly aware, installing sidewalks is exceedingly difficult. And I wanted to kind of broach the subject with what I would refer to as low-hanging fruit, something that was very simple and checked all the boxes, which is why we started with Birch Hill Drive. If we cannot get sidewalks installed at Birch Hill Drive, that money will stay. unencumbered for a sidewalk elsewhere.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no more. Thank you, Mr. Stetson, for coming in.
Thank you for your time, guys.
No, thank you. Moving on to new business, 13A, discussion item, Public Building Commission and Parks and Recreation Commission updates on Parks and Rec Department facilities. Mr. Maniscalco.
I think unfortunately, due to some scheduling challenges, there was not able to be a representative from the Building Commission here tonight, so maybe we should just wait till another future meeting when they could be here, so.
After we find out when they met, and then we can follow up after they meet, or?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And moving on to discussion item 13B, 2024 Budget Policy Statement. Everyone should have a draft on that. Mr. Maniscalco.
Yeah, sure. So in your packet, you have the last year's budget policy statement. That's and we figured we would provide that to you if you wanted to use it as a framework to try to build your own. But we do need annually the town council to put together a budget policy statement that provides kind of the big picture direction that I then use to direct my staff to get the budget together. I'd be happy to work with all of you on putting that together. There are some things that we want to keep in that budget policy statement in an effort to make sure that we maintain our credit rating. Some wording around use of general fund and other things of that nature. Because essentially whenever we do go out to bond for any approved debt from the taxpayers, Standard & Poor will look to the town staff to provide them with certain policies and directions that the council has provided to us, and they're looking for certain items within those policies and directions to ensure that we have the appropriate financial activities going on and directions and that nature. So I'd be happy to work with all of you. That said, in terms of a timeline, we are looking to probably, if you could get something to us sometime in December, that would be great. And then the staff will be off to the races in terms of getting their budgets together and off to me. So my review of those budgets happens probably January to March, and then I provide that budget to all of you sometime in March.
Is this something where, instead of having the entire council work on it, if I appoint 2-3 council members to work on it?
Previous councils have identified 2 or 3 members to kind of go off and work on it separately and then bring it back to the council for approval. Yeah.
Would it be at our next council meeting you would need that, or would it the second one in December? That way everybody can see a draft before the second meeting?
Sooner the better, of course, but, you know, what works for the council will be fine.
Okay, so if we work for the first meeting as a draft that everybody can look at, and then probably a motion on the second meeting?
That would work.
Everybody in favor? Because I was looking to, can I appoint them now?
Sure.
Okay. Councilor Balboni and Councilor Carey to work on it and come up with a draft? Is that a good timeline for you?
You need someone from our side also. You should have 3 people.
Oh, okay, because I was,
The whole council.
yeah, because I was told that at the last year was only you and Councilor Kaboski. I could be misunderstood, so I'm just,
For the budget statement?
yes. No? Okay,
No, Councilor Gamble was on the budget process also.
okay.
But he didn't participate, so everyone was involved.
Everyone, not just a group to bring it, the draft? Okay, Councilor King, are you interested? Councilor Pendleton, Councilor Evans?
What's that?
Then happy to.
Okay. Thank you. That's it, right? Okay, good. Moving on to 13C, Councilor Pendleton.
Resolution approving the 2024 Town Council regular meeting schedule. Be it resolved that the South Windsor Town Council hereby approves the meeting dates for the 2024 regular Town Council meetings as fully described and on Exhibit C.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Counselor Evans?
Thank you. So excited for this part. So I've mentioned it in previous times when we've discussed our schedule for the council meetings. And as you can see, it says no regular meetings in August. From my experience, that's a long time not to have a meeting for a council. And I have recommended in the past, and it hasn't kind of been, I keep mentioning it, hoping that eventually it's going to take on, that we would consider having one meeting in July and one meeting in August to be able to continue to consistently conduct the business of the town without such a long interim between our meetings. I know that it has impacted staff vacations previously, not that the way it's set up now, but there was a consideration of would it impact staff vacations. And I think that if we were to change it, they could plan accordingly. It has also been brought to my attention, though, that it is in our council rules that it says we do not meet in August. So although I'm making this recommendation or suggesting this, we would have to look at our council rules if we wanted to make this change. So just throwing it out there as something I think as a council we might consider doing. Additionally, I don't know if it was left off in error or if we don't usually list the second meeting in December, but there should be a meeting listed for Monday, December 16th.
Do you want to make a motion to amend the schedule and add December 16th?
Yes, I would like to make a motion, friendly motion, to
Is it the 16th?
to add to our calendar Monday, December 16th for a regular scheduled meeting.
Is it the right one?
14. No, the 18th. Well, then it's December. No, are you in the wrong year? What year is that? Yeah, you gotta go to 2004 or 24. You're in 2023.
Oh, my fault, my bad.
No,
18th?
16.
Oh, it is 16th.
Yeah, it's my fault.
He's looking at 2024.
2024.
I was looking at the wrong John. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you being here with me.
Do I hear a second?
Sorry, what?
No, I'm saying, do I hear a second, because you made the...
Second.
All those in favor of the change to the addition of December 16th, 2024 to the Town Council regular monthly meeting schedule?
All right.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Now
Discussion on
yep, now we're back to the discussion on the meeting schedule. Deputy Mayor Siracusa.
Just a comment. Since it is in our rules, I would just say that we keep it as is because we can always call a special meeting in August. It's not like we can't meet. So my recommendation would be to keep things as they are.
I myself would have to agree because there have been times, special meetings have been called in August and never had an issue before. But another reason why you don't want to follow a special meeting request is?
I think my only thought with that is knowing that one of the arguments for not having meetings in August is that so many of our staff do plan vacations during that time, that it puts us in a position to not have a lot of staff and information available to us if we did plan to call a special meeting in August. I don't think we can do it for this year. I think if it's something that this council wants to entertain, we would have to look at our council rules and we would have to plan to make that change for next year.
For 2025.
For 2025, yeah. So I'm only bringing it up as I have, as Councilor King knows, for quite a few years. And I think it's just something that we should always consider, and I'm hoping eventually that'll be kind of a change that we can make.
All right. thank you. Motion on the amended resolution, so a motion on approving the calendar with the changes. Do I hear a second? I think I got this right. We have a second. Any other discussions? Seeing none? All in favor? No opposed? Motion passes. Item 13D, Counselor Evans.
Resolution approving 47 refunds totaling $31,754.83. Be it resolved that the South Windsor Town Council hereby approves 47 refunds to the total of said refunds being $31,754.83, and as more fully described in attached Exhibit B.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you. Item 14, passage of ordinance. Seeing none. Item number 15, public input for any matter on any matter. Public input for any other matter shall not exceed 30 minutes. When recognized by the mayor, the speaker shall approach the lectern, give their name and address. Speakers shall avoid personal attacks or impugning or alleging an improper motive to any person. Speaker may address the council on any item. The speaker shall limit their speaking time to 5 minutes. Anyone like to come up and speak?
Good evening, councilors. I'm Ginny Hull, 185 LaFolle Boulevard. I'm also the chairperson for South Windsor Walk and Wheelways, and I'm just here. I apologize for not being missing the previous meetings on the Birch Hill Road. I really wanted to find out what the concerns were as to why they didn't want a sidewalk on the road. We, as a group, we advocate for safe passages for walking and biking, and with that, Birch Hill Road being in close proximity to Orchard Hill School, yes, it's a great way for children to safely walk back home, as well as completing the gap on Felt Road, because then our hopes are to then have a sidewalk placed on Palmer from Felt to Ellington Road and have a crosswalk placed there to then be able to access Andreas Trail from Lippman Drive to Nevers Park, and then it gets you to the high school, and you can also get to the businesses on Sullivan Avenue, or go to watch a game at Nevers Park, whatever, but it's a great way, and of course you have Parks and Rec next to Orchard Hill. It's just a great connection for people to walk, and I just wanted to let you know that, where I live is on LaFolle Boulevard between Pleasant Valley Road and Chapel Road, and I've seen over the years sidewalks go on Chapel and now Clark and the upper part of Pleasant Valley Road, and everybody's out there walking on those sidewalks. And living in a neighborhood that has sidewalks, it's a great way for us, our neighbors, to congregate and talk to one another. Our kids, when they were little, they rode their bikes on the sidewalks. It was a safe place to be. A lot of people have dogs, they're always walking. It's just a great way to get to know your community, a great way to get exercise. I know that when sidewalks have gone in, people are walking them. When the sidewalks went on Orchard Hill Road, I know a lot of people were against that as well, and now they're widely used. And I've heard already that the sidewalks on Beelzebub are being used as well. And I know they're looking at Dart Hill Road. So I fully support the sidewalks on Birch Hill Road and hope that it goes through. I don't know what other process has to go through. I'd be happy to help out if there's any concerns, or if you know what those concerns were, I'd love to know, because that is something we are always trying to help and overcome so that people realize it really is a good thing to have. And we just like to be able to encourage having a walkable and bikeable community. So thank you for listening to me and for supporting what we've done in the past. And yes, I appreciate, I know some people, I'm also one of the grant writers for the funds for the Crosstown Trail, and that's something that you've always supported, and now it's on a roll. So I am thrilled that that's happening, and hopefully construction will start in the spring and continue now that we have funding, that it'll be easier to receive a grant in the future for the other phases. And if you have any questions on that, let me know too. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to come and speak on this item, item 15, public input on any matter? Going once, going twice? Okay, moving on. Thank you. Item number 16, communications from the council. Anyone have communications from the council? Councilor Evans.
Thank you. In just a few days, it's going to be Thanksgiving, and I didn't want to miss this opportunity just to wish our community happy Thanksgiving. I know myself, I'm really thankful for the opportunity to be able to serve our community and work in the best interest of South Windsor and to work alongside all of you. So I just wanted to wish everyone in South Windsor and everyone here a happy Thanksgiving. So thank you.
Okay, I'd like to just repeat the same. I was going to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And Councilor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And this just occurred to me because I know we're supposed to have an impending storm or two. Mr. Maniscalco, can you let our residents know, because I'm very big on the ice and the salts and where they can get that in anticipation, because right now it's been so gorgeous, nobody's really thinking about it, but when it hits, then you're gonna wish you probably had the ice and the salts and all that type of stuff, which you can get for free.
Well, I think people want salt, not ice.
Yes, I'm sorry. All right. You know what I meant.
So I believe the salt is available at Public Works. There should be a salt pile out in the yard there that the public has access to. Over on Burgess Road.
Public Works on?
Burgess Road.
Got it. So you can get that for free.
Correct.
So I encourage everybody
Bring
to
your
take a
own
bucket or
container.
two over there, fill it up. One bucket.
Thank you. And any more? Okay. Next item is item 18. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. And good evening. Thank you.